in at least a dozen states for voter registration fraud in connection with the presidential election. Should it really be helping conduct the U.S. Census? Joining me now is Jason Chaffetz, a Republican congressman from Utah. Congressman, good morning to you.
Good morning.
How does this happen? I mean, this group literally was under investigation in more than a dozen states for voter registration fraud. They were allegedly, we saw the testimony on our show of them offering people cigarettes and other things to get them to register, mostly in an effort to help Democrats. And now Acorn is going to help conduct the census. Does this make sense to you?
Well, this is outrageous. I mean, this is where we have deep, deep concern. I'm on a committee called Oversight and Government Reform in the subcommittee that deals with the census. Now, this is a group and an organization that has earned a reputation that we all have to be vigilant in making sure does their job, and it's very, very concerning. These are going to be people who step up and go house by house and count people. And yet when they did it with voter registration, it was so fraudulent that it was national headlines.
Right, and what happens is if they happen to count more people than actually exist, say, in a Democratic district, then that district, the lines can get redrawn such that it would increase the Democrats' power in Congress, correct?
Yeah, the census is so critical because it determines how we're going to apportion out the various congressmen in the congressional district. It affects how we're going to actually give out different appropriations and whatnot.
Right, it affects money.
So it's absolutely, how we spend money, how we apportion money to the states, it's absolutely critical. And if there's fraud involved, we got to be right on top of it. There is a pretty severe penalty. They can go to jail for up to 5 years, and I want to make sure we enforce that to the letter.
How does the Census Bureau agree to work with a group like this? I mean, it's no mystery that this is controversial, that a lot of Americans, irrespective of their party stripes, don't believe in this group. I mean, one of those cases that they were investigated for fraud in Missouri, the guy was found guilty or pleaded guilty not long ago, and the others, as far as we know, are open and under investigation. How do they contract with a group like Acorn?
Well, they put it out there for partnerships. I don't like it. I want to change it. I think it's outrageous. And we're going to be back here to fight that fight and make sure that Acorn is not taking a leading role in this census. But at this point, they're on that trajectory, and I, for one, am very concerned about it.
Yeah, okay, here's the latest. In Missouri, of those investigations, in Missouri, one Acorn employee was indeed indicted for voter fraud. That's ongoing. In Indiana, one guy was found not to have created a problem. In the 12 other states, the investigation results not yet released. What can be done? If this is going to happen, it's apparently 1.4 million temporary workers need to be recruited. So if we've got 1.4 million, or some portion of that being recruited by Acorn, going door to door and maybe doctoring these numbers, how do you figure it out so that you can impose those penalties you mentioned?
Well, we're trying to make sure that the Census Department has some checks and balances, that there's actually a second person that will actually go to that house that isn't involved in that same organization. I want to make sure good men and women across the country step up and participate. At the end of the day, we need good, honest people to step up and participate in this census, and then use technology to make sure that there's not an overcount. We want to make sure every American is accounted for, but I worry about the Acorn tendency to maybe want to overcount some people, and we got to be vigilant in Congress, too.
Congressman Jason Chaffetz, still sleeping on the cot?
Absolutely. I love it.
He's sleeping on his cot in his U.S. Congress office to save money. Good for you. We had you on a while back about that. Love it.